I'm a bit of a romantic about things like that.
So we go to Knossos, we go to Sakros, Hagia Triadat, 1700 to 1450.
So this is towards the latter part of the Minoan period.
So first of all, let me just tell
these
you.
are saws.
These are saws.
Wow.
Okay, Pete, let me just tell you how large these saws are. My guess, 170 centimeters, at least.
Yeah. So they said crosscut saws, and that's how big they are nowadays, more or less.
Yeah.
But imagine making them out of bronze.
And look at these. Look at this, Pete. Yeah, exactly. Look at the saws. Look. Unbelievable. I have never seen such large from that period bronze saws.
Yeah.
Amazing technology.
Because these are primarily in, like historical times, were used for cutting boards out of tree trunks to make your floorboards and I'm just trying to work out crosscut saws normally have teeth facing from the middle, they face towards one handle, and from the middle they face towards the other handle, and two people use them alternately pulling, or sometimes there's a master puller and an apprentice puller and that. But these are just classic. This is exactly what, if you were cutting planks out of a tree, you'd want to have.
Pete, if they tell you, do you remember we talked about that French museum in Klingenthal, and they had these large saws from 19th century? But no, look where they are. When they were made.
Honestly, I've never seen bronze saws that big. And immediately you see them if you've ever seen people use that kind of saw, or ever. I mean, I've handled antique ones, but they're iron with steel edges. And I've seen the Japanese ones and the Chinese ones in illustrations, contemporary illustrations. So this is 2,000 years earlier than any others I've ever seen of this nature.
Amazing. The level of technology. Unbelievable at that time.
Yeah, it's incredible. And to think they would have cast a bar and then hammered it out. And with bronze, as you hammer it, it gets harder, so it doesn't want to move. So you've then got to reheat it to soften it and quench it, which makes it soft, so it's annealed, and then you hammer it out some more, and then you keep doing this process. These would have been really hard to make. And then, of course, you cut all the teeth in the saw, and then you go through the process of work hardening it again.
Pete, look at this.
They're so fine.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably not fine because it's such a big saw, but they're so perfectly cut.
Unbelievable.
I mean, any person who works with saws would immediately see how well these are designed. You can see from the holes and the one on the top, that's where the handles would have been attached, because there'd be handles at both ends, because two people used one of these.
Two people, yes.
Yeah.
You still have them, right? We have modern ones like that, Pete.
Oh, yeah. You can go and buy them.
Yeah.
Most people prefer to use chainsaws.
Yes.
These work very well. And, of course, I remember seeing illustrations from Japan and China where they would have the tree trunk at an angle, and one guy would be in a pit. They'd dig a hole, and the other guy would be on top, and one guy would pull up, and then the other guy would pull down. The guy in the pit used to be covered in sawdust
Yes.
That wasn't the good job. The good job was on top where you just had to pull it back up again. Oh,
Now
okay.
we go to a very famous cave, Alcalocori cave, 1700, 1450. So we move forward and look at this, one of
Oh,
these large ones, not very large, but as a weapon size. Look at this one.
mm.
Solid ones,
Yeah,
man.
that
Solid.
very solid. Small hole for the staff though. So the staff must have been
Yeah,
quite small.
yeah. And
That
now here, okay, we have double axis, molds. They have molds for swords and also different types.
yeah, the
Casting
advantages of bronze,
ingots.
you could make a mold and cast it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Look what they found there. And they're also, look at this, these
Stripped.
swords,
Yeah.
which our
Yeah.
friend, our British friend said, oh, they were only trade items, but look how many nicks they have, Pete.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Full of nicks.
Yeah.
Look, look, look.
Yeah.
Look at this
Oh
one.
look, they were everybody in the 19th and early 20th century was looking for philosopher kings who ruled these.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, people were pretty much the same then as they are now.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
that. Full of nicks. Really, look at
Oh,
this one,
hey.
Beat. Look. They're excavated. Look at this one, Beat. Look at this. Look
Wow.
at the nicks. Oh, it went directly into the
That's
grave.
yeah, that's sword on sword hitting.
Look.
So that
Look at
by
this,
this
Beat.
stage,
Look at this. Look at this.
yeah, they're
And didn't he
deep.
see them? Didn't he see how many nicks they had? Unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to wonder sometimes how. But see, he was probably totally overwhelmed by the buildings and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was.
And this stuff, the other guys were digging up.
Yeah, you're right. He
Yeah,
was.
and again, he was a wealthy man who had people to do things for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some serious hitting going on with these.
Look at this,
Some of
Pete.
those notches, yeah,
Look at
some
the
of those
notches
notches,
here.
and
Unbelievable.
they're concentrated. Like there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, all in a short section, which must have been the point of percussion or where you were. I mean, these notches could have been caused by the edges of bronze shields as well as swords.
As
It
well.
doesn't matter how they started. That means
Yeah.
the swords were being used in earnest.
Look at this one. It compromised the whole blade. Look at this one, Beat.
Yeah, yeah,
Went to the center.
that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah. Look at how many of them stacked on
This
top of
isn't it.
each other.
Yeah, yeah, this is enormous. See, this sometimes you have more things than you can display.
Yeah. They're
Again, look at how the thing that strikes me about these, because the gold ones and that where they have a kind of gold tube, you notice that the shaft is very thin, and that plexiglass transparent tube that goes up through the hole in the axe is very thin in comparison to the size of the axe.
here they imitated it because they put something to hold it. You see that, Beat?
Yeah,
Plastic
which
one?
is really useful for us because we can see how big it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Now, I'll make one comment that's probably not very useful. One of the ways you could use something like this is have a whippy thin handle and use the weight of the axe. So you're not striking like that, you're using the speed of it. I have no idea. These may have only been used for, I hope you won't be offended, ritual purposes like making sacrifices or carrying in front of priestesses or whatever. They're very important in
And
Minoan
Beat, if you
culture,
take a
though.
look at them, they are different sizes, they're different shapes as well.
Yeah,
You know?
and as you pointed out earlier, some of them are very robust,
Yeah, very,
which makes
very,
you think, that
very.
they're meant for doing. I mean, you might be sacrificing bulls or something like that with it. I mean,
Beat, look
as
at this
fighting,
one.
yeah.
This one, okay, this side is corroded,
Oh,
unfortunately, but look at the design on it.
yeah. See, that's really beautifully decorated, and I mean the kind of diagonal lines, the um, kind of concentric lines on the curve of the blade. This is all really. This is meant to show off. I mean, this is, it's not meant to be hidden away.
And now some of them are simple design, like this one.
Yeah, that's almost like it was some kind of talisman or something. It looks like an axe, but it's thinner and not quite so
Look at this
sturdy.
one, please.
Yeah, see, these are much more sturdy. Because socketed axes, like battle axe, socketed axes, dagger axes, and things like that, you see in Egypt and the Middle East,
Yeah.
where they have just an ordinary axe, but with a very thin blade for puncturing helmets and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
originally sockets are a later development for axes, but these are all advanced in the sense that they're all meant for sockets.
Pete, take a look at this one.
Oh yeah, again those diagonal lines and the concentric or the equidistant, the
Unbelievable.
parallel. Have they got little rivets in them along the edge?
No idea, Pete.
Yeah, I just wonder because these may have been. No, they
Okay,
couldn't be.
Pete. Now
This is
look.
so complicated.
Pete, look.
This is yeah,
Look at the size differences, right?
yeah. We're going from yeah. Well, some of them are so big it's not funny. Is it my imagination, or are some of those do the holes for the shaft look semicircular?
Yeah,
And makes me wonder whether some of those axes were made in two halves and then riveted along the edges,
could be. Yeah.
others cast in one big piece. I don't know. See, there is a job for a PhD student to write a thesis here.
Absolutely. Comparing all these accents,
Yeah, when
design.
you've got this many, I mean, I knew there were a lot of them excavated, but just looking at this huge collection,
They're stacked on top of each other. Look.
yeah. Oh, this is amazing.
Amazing.
But the level of decoration also tends to show that these were status objects, whether or not they were military weapons, uh, used for sacrifice. They're certainly not for cutting trees
Rich
down because they had that.
Nabel, our friend, who is a bronze expert, our friend mentioned something yesterday, I think, to me. He said, unfortunately, there is not enough written in English, but in Greek, they have publications on them. But of course, we don't
Ah,
read
well, this
Greek.
would be good.
Yeah, we don't
Well, a
read
lot of
Greek.
I met a lot of Greek people involved in things like this over the years, and there is a really strong community of interest and scholarship.
Yeah,
And I mean, they're Greeks. They like being scholars. It's natural. But yeah, it would be worthwhile because a lot of people are bilingual. It would be worthwhile for people to, you know, deal with the original authors and say, oh, can I do a translation into English or French or German?
yeah, exactly.
Because that would
So
help a lot of people.
absolutely. Beat.
Oh boy.
Now we see that. Look, these are these ones which are in bronze, right? Right?
Yeah.
And now on top, these are the small ones now in silver and in gold.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, this is amazing stuff. Well, the gold and silver ones are clearly
Clear.
for display.
Well,
But
clear.
again, this might have been a symbol, as well as being an axe. This might have been a symbol that you put outside a temple or inside a temple.
Yeah.
See, the problem is all we know about the Minoans, aside from archaeology, is brief mentions in Greek historians,
Yes, brief.
and the there's several references to the Minoan language surviving for hundreds of years after the fall of the Minoan civilization in Greek writers, talking about Etio-Cretan and things like this. But we've lost whatever they um, told of their own history because, first of all, as far as anyone can tell, and nobody's really sure, um, Cretan Linear A was used mainly for bookkeeping, writing down lists of things. I mean, Mycenaean Linear B was used mainly for that as well. So
Mhm.
there was a tradition of using writing purely for practical things, keeping track of how many chariots you had, how many jars of olive oil you had, things like that, rather than writing down epic poems or things like that, which developed much later.
Yes.
But oh, how much we've lost because they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are amazing.
Amazing. So let's have some close-ups of them. Look at this bead.
See how the designs on these mimic the bigger ones.
Yes, they do.
This is a consistent concept of what a double-headed axe should look like.
Yes.
If we only knew what the underlying context was, maybe we'll find a cache of tablets where they've been exchanging letters with the Assyrians or the Hittites or somebody one day, and we will find out. I mean, I wouldn't be holding my breath, but you never know. Again, the silver ones, same thing. Diagonal lines at
Yeah.
the in that central area, uh, parallel or curved lines parallel to the edges.
Yes.
The that silver one you can see like little motifs between two of the groups of curved lines.
Yes.
I bet there's so much in that.
So then we have these blades, bronze ones. They're like leaf
Mm.
shaped, very long ones. Look, see that bead here, right? And they
Oh
have a
yeah, these are
short tang.
massively.
On top, they don't have tangs. They're attached with rivet heads. Remember we talked about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see again. I would imagine stabbing swords. The rib is to make them stiff. Having sharp edges is to make them go in easily. They don't strike me as cutting swords,
Yes.
but I don't know.
Look at
Uh,
them, please, speed.
yeah,
They're really
it's so
long,
many.
really long. Yes,
Yeah,
so
well, yeah.
many.
There was a period of the Bronze Age where really long swords were quite common,
Yeah,
and then they got shorter.
yeah.
Um, so technologically, they were capable of making long swords. And as I say, there is an author out there who has a whole theory of how they fenced with these. It's been published.
Yes.
I've read it. I think I might even have a book by the guy.
It
I'm
was,
not
I think
sure.
this was also researched by Molloy, Dr. Molloy in the United Kingdom.
Yes, yeah,
I think that
yeah. I
one.
think
Yeah.
you're right. That rings a bell with me too. But
Yes,
look at how strong they tried to make those blades.
yes.
Because
Again, you
the
see lots of notches and nicks. Do you see that bead? Look,
yeah, yeah,
look,
yeah.
look,
So,
look, look, look.
but
Yeah.
think of if you got the opportunity to stab somebody. I mean, you're holding a shield or something, and you stab somebody with that, that would go in deep quick. Um, but if you had to defend yourself, it's fairly solid looking. And we look at the handle fittings and that. Think of the handles on Keris from Indonesia. The attachment with a tiny tang, yet they're
Yes.
still functional weapons.
Okay, they
So
have
we shouldn't get.
two inscriptions, linear A and linear B, and then another one, three actually. So this one, and unfortunately, linguists were not able to completely decipher linear A and B. So they don't know exactly what they write.
Oh, that's a shame because that would be very helpful because we know that linear A is not the same language as linear B because this is based on the concept that the
Yes.
same shaped letters had the same
Yes.
phonetic values,
So
which might
this
not
is
be true, but it's
inscribed
probable.
bead. So here you don't
Mhm.
see it very well, but our colleagues made this drawing so you can see that the writing. So the whole axe
Mm.
has inscriptions on it, and they couldn't decipher it.
Yeah, so yeah.
Isn't it
I was
fascinating?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the kind of decipherment of linear B was an amazing thing. I've got books on that because uh it was a brilliant
Yeah.
um leap by people like Michael Ventris to realize that linear B was writing down an early form of Greek.
Yes.
And
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 look
it,
at this one, please. Again, we have swords here. Well,
yeah, again, some of these really do look as though, despite what they say about the handles, you could use them for slashing.
yeah,
Um, because broad blades like that, they're good for slashing normally.
yeah.
One assume again, I'm using the Indonesian example because that's the only culture I know that has what looks like really weak connections between the handle and the blade, but in practice, they're really quite strong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if this is the same thing. This is where we need somebody to make, you know,
Yeah.
3 or 4 reproductions and test out the various ways of putting the handle on to see
Let me
how
just
strong they
see
are.
it. Oh, okay. Oh no, this is another one. Look at this axe again.
Again, beautiful decoration.
Yeah, really nice. Again, more. I mean, there are so many
Yeah,
things there. Oh
they
God.
they really love the double axe. I mean, as I say, not a good woodsman's tool. I know in America there's some areas where they use double bitted axes. Um, but generally speaking, people prefer a single edge, and certainly not very common outside Crete.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, at the same time as these were being made,
Yeah.
single-edged axes were used everywhere else. I mean, you have the big crescent shape or
Look at this
crescent moon
bead.
shaped axes in Egypt and Mesopotamia, but they're only
Again.
one-sided.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of
Look
blade.
at this one. They're large now.
Ah, yeah. So they have fully round sockets. So these are definitely one-piece
And
axes.
based on oxidization, you can tell that they experimented with different types of alloy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is again, well, this is Bronze Age. People would have tried ways of making them harder and tougher,
Yeah.
but they also would have tried ways of using less of the more rare tin and things like that to
Yeah.
see at what level does it stop being bronze and is really just dirty copper. Um,
Yeah. You're right. Look
it's
at this one,
amazing when
Pete.
you see.
Look at this one.
Yeah,
Look at the
these.
design. So these
Yeah,
are from this cave which we talked about it, right? 1700, 1450, all of them. But we mentioned it in the beginning. Look at the
yeah,
difference
yeah. So
between this one. Look at how solid. Look at the, oh God,
yeah,
unbelievable.
it's incredible. I mean, it kind of suggests that if we just say double-headed axes, we're making a mistake. There were clearly different levels of double-headed axes, from miniatures to giant display ones and gold and silver ones. But some of these look as though you could do serious damage with them. Um,
And
and
here
they
there are some
clearly
small
were,
daggers. You see that? Dagger blades. You see that as
yeah,
well?
they look well made too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more I look at them, see, this is it. If you don't see the sheer quantity and the differences in design, I mean, everyone has the same outline, and if you put them all down and just match the outlines, they're very close. But when you see them as individual items, you can see they're all made slightly differently and they're
Yeah.
decorated. They have that basic design, but each iteration, each time they do it, it's slightly different.
So we go to Neo-Palatial period, 1650 to 1450.
So that's the last period of the pure Minoan culture.
Look at this one.
Oh, so the single-edged axe with the
Yes,
socket at the end, that's much
exactly.
more like a Middle Eastern or Egyptian axe,
Yes,
isn't it?
this one, single-edged.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and much more like an axe you'd use for fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at
yeah,
this
you can.
small dagger. What this reminds you of?
Oh
Persian
yes,
Echinacus.
yeah, yeah, very much, yeah. And you do see these kind of small daggers, but obviously these are much earlier. Like an Akinakis, you'd expect to see in the 7th century. This is
Yeah.
the 14th
Funny, huh?
century or 15th century. It's amazing.
Amazing. Oh, Pete, look at
Oh,
this
look at,
one. Do you remember that board, chiseled board
yeah,
house?
yeah, yeah,
The same thing here.
yeah, yeah. Again, they really look like spearheads to me rather than swords.
Yeah.
But they may have been a long-handled sword. I don't know. I'm just because I've seen bronze spearheads that were definitely spearheads
Yeah. Look
with
at this
those two
one.
slots.
Three
Yeah,
solid rivet.
very solid. So that had a quite thick handle,
Yeah.
and they used that thickness to make it
Yes.
robust.
Okay, now we move to Zagros and then Psera, Curnia, again, Malia, we come back, Hagia Triada, and Palaicastro. These are 1600 to 1450. And
Hmm.
let us take a look at them. These are many
Well,
tools here now, Bede, right?
yeah, yeah.
Many
You can
tools.
see the difference between the axe as a tool and the axe as a
Yeah,
statement of
yeah,
power or whatever.
yeah. I don't know
Though,
what it is, but what is this then?
yeah, there's all well, I don't. That looks as though it's been used for hammering things.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, it
See
has a
how it's
shaft went into that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're right, you're right.
So that's a double. But I saw what looked to me like a in the earlier picture. I'll get to them.
What is this, Bede? What kind of tool is that?
I don't know.
This is so
It looks
solid. Look.
yeah, it looks really heavy.
Yeah, surely.
If you, I mean, I don't know, because they had regular hammers, so that it's not some kind of weird hammer. It's not a pry bar because it's much too thick on the
Oh,
ends.
true, true.
Maybe it was used in some kind of thing where it was used for leverage to lift stones or
Maybe.
move, like lift them up so you could move them into position and let them down.
Look at this. What is
Um,
this? For chiseling? No, it's too huge for
I
chiseling.
No, that could be. Oh, yeah, you can make really big chisels. That could be for a mortise chisel kind of thing for doing deep holes,
Deep holes, yeah.
and the one on the right could be a regular chisel for
Yeah.
doing slots. And there looks like a pair of tweezers,
Yeah, it is.
which might be for jewelry making, holding things in the flame to solder things and stuff like that. But they all look practical. Now these look very practical. So that the front one is an adze.
Yes.
The next one is a double-sided axe,
Yeah.
or possibly. The one at the back is an adze.
Yeah.
Then a mallet on the left.
Yeah.
Um,
Mallets, yeah.
and it's been used a lot. See how the ends of mushroom from constant hitting hard objects?
Yeah,
And
they
then
do.
you've got it on the right, you've got molds for dagger blades and
Mold, yeah.
possibly yeah, I don't know what the lower one is, might be arrowheads or something. But
Yeah.
see, that front one's I said adds, but when you look, it's got like a pick on the back. I wonder if it's a mattock for digging soil.
Yeah. You can buy modern ones which look like that.
Yeah, that's what I kind of misviewed it. The one at the back looks more like an adze, um, because it's got blades rather than, but it could be another
Oh, we
gardening
have the
tool.
molds here, Beat. Look.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed that first dagger mold on the top left. What's the mold? So the mold on the bottom is two halves of the same mold that's broken in the middle, or a
Yeah, it
piece is
is.
missing.
It is, Beat. This
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
This one and this one.
yeah. So the left side is where the handle part with the rivets would go, and
Yeah.
the right side is the point of the knife or the sword, whatever. So I've seen different ideas about this. Ones that show burning, they've cast the metal straight into the stone.
Yeah.
Ones that show no burning, they may have cast a wax into it and then used lost wax
Oh,
casting
no,
to
so-
cast the whole blade. Because you could make hundreds that way, whereas if you're using the stone one, you got to wait for the metal to cool. The stone gradually erodes from the application of heat. But if you make a wax mold in it, you can make 20 or 30 an hour, and you would have you would be able to make casting trees with the various wax molds to make dozens of daggers or swords or axes at the same time. I know that this was considered to be how they made bronze arrows heads, and certainly they found multiple
Yes.
molds for multiple arrowheads, I should say.
Yes.
So that's quite
We go to
possible.
1500, 1450 BCE, Zagros Palace mostly, and Hagia Triada
Mhm.
Royal Villa, and Nirukhani, Zagros Central Sanctuary Complex. We go here as well. And Bede, look.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable.
They are.
Look at the swords, Bede.
Yeah. Yeah. They've definitely been out in the wild. But again, these really long piercing swords. But
Long.
as you've shown the earlier ones, they were obviously used for blocking. But then you might not want to use them for that. But if your life is in danger, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Um, are those bronze plates? Do they think they're part of armor, or they're decorative plates for something else? Or
Yeah, I mean, we are going to see armor, by the way.
oh,
And
great.
they made armor like half circular and also
Hmm.
rectangular for protecting the body.
I
Yeah.
see. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Bronze makes good armor,
Yeah.
as the ancient Greeks uh, uh,
Look at them
would.
be.
Yeah, yeah. So these, you can see those rivets are really solid. I must admit, when I read uh, Arthur Evans reports or extracts from them back 40 or 50 years ago, before there had been as much of this done, you got the impression the rivets were very insubstantial, but those are solid. And
Yeah, they're so.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now look at this beat.
Wow.
This is my boy, 12 years old.
Oh goodness. I was looking at the axes and boy. Uh,
I just want you to see.
wow.
Okay, these are, of course, the handles are not original, of course. Look the size.
So these would be outside a palace or a temple or something
Yes.
to show status.
Do you remember the
Like,
small gold ones? And now look at these
yeah,
ones.
that's enormous.
Unbelievable. Have you ever seen a large axe like that?
No.
I've never seen that.
I've
It's
seen big axe. I mean,
amazing,
I've seen
dude.
there
Amazing.
are about 300 or 400 years later in China, in the tomb of Fu Hao, there was a massive axe. Uh, Not as big as that. It was really big though. It was not very far off, but it was a single-sided axe, not a double-sided axe. So the concept of having massive axes, these are too big to be carried around, I think. I think
Of
even
course.
if you had a guy who was just carrying them and doing nothing else, these I think would be outside a building or inside a building in a sacred part of a temple or something like that. Because they
Pete, aren't
clearly
they
had,
amazing? I think these are
they
unbelievable.
are.
Really
And they're
unbelievable.
kind of stretched out compared to the smaller ones, just to
Yes.
get that greater effect,
Stretch.
visual effect.
Yes. So, these are from Zagros Central Sanctuary, 1500, 1450, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're
That makes
decorated
perfect.
also with incised lilies, small circles, and rows of holes. And
Mm.
then these double,
Oh wow.
these ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're spectacular. It's like somebody designing a fantasy novel and come up with something. How outrageous can you make this? And well, somebody did make it, and it's real.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
they're amazing. Yeah,
Oh, we saw them before, some of them, right? These ones.
yeah, yeah. It's a massive
I wonder
handle
what
there.
these ones are.
Well, the one in the center appears to be a handle,
Yeah,
maybe on a big door or something like that.
yeah,
The strip around the outside, I wonder if that was part of a rim of a shield or something.
yeah, could be.
I suppose if it didn't have little holes in it, it'd be nailed on. It wasn't, but
Yeah.
it could be something
Now,
else.
Bede,
Oh,
look
these
at
are beautiful.
these. Look at the sharp point.
We're
Bede,
going to stab somebody
look.
with these. And
God.
yeah, and look how they've beefed up the handles.
Yeah,
Uh, they're much stronger. I mean, the early ones would have been probably quite successful, but by this stage, they're clearly getting into more fencing type fighting. Again, they keep the idea of the solid
yeah.
rib down the center of the blade to make it
Like the
stiffer.
same development we saw in Iran, that they have
Yeah,
remembered tanked, and then they had the in one mold the handle together with the blade, right? The same thing we see
yeah,
here.
yeah. And the
Mhm.
thing about it is, when you're casting a sword in bronze, it's a lot easier to put that raised ridge than it is when you're hammering it out of iron.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is a design that is linked to the technology.
Yeah. I wish more
So
people
yes,
were interested in bronze as they are in like steel swords.
well,
Today at
there's a
least. There are
yeah,
many.
no, there's a few people around making bronze swords, but I think there's particularly a good bronze swords maker in Britain. I think there may be some in Germany. I'm not
They are.
sure.
We have them. We have them. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they all complain that there are not enough people who are interested in bronze compared to
Well,
steel.
that's yeah. Well, when you consider you can make much more artistic weapons in bronze because casting is much easier to manage,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that's a great deficit. People out there, you should go out and buy bronze swords.
So we go to final palatial period, 1450 to 1370, which was this ones. We are going to see them.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
Pete, some of the pommels were also have survived. You see that? next to
Oh
the
yeah, so they fit. Yeah, this is beautiful stuff.
next to the sword.
These swords look really quite effective.
Yeah, and they
I
have
mean,
also a cross guard, huh? It's very nice.
yeah, I mean, this maybe I'm trying to think because cross guards, as opposed to just drilling blocks like like on a gladius or, I mean, the Xiphos, the Greek classical era sword had a strong rectangular crossguard.
Yeah,
This is more, yeah, it looks more modern, doesn't it?
it does. Unbelievable. The
Yeah,
ideas back then, unbelievable.
yeah,
So we go
yeah.
to warrior graves now, 1450, 1300. Bede, look.
Ah,
These are arrowheads,
oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely classic. We've got to do a test someday with some of the bronze
Yeah,
arrowheads that
yeah,
I was given.
yeah.
Uh,
Bede, now look.
oh yeah, these look much more clearly meant for use. The lowest very narrow bladed one. Um, I mean, obviously, the narrow part of the blade has suffered more corrosion because comparative surface areas and that.
Oh, God.
I think though it was probably quite an effective sword. I'm looking at the shape because you can see the basic shape of the handle, and on the mainland in Anatolia and Syria and that, the concept of having a raised rim and putting pieces of either wood, horn, ivory, or whatever, and then riveting them onto the handle, and the raised rib stopped the grip scales from moving side to side, as well as the rivets did as well.
Bede, look at the handles now.
Yeah, see, and then you just cover it all in gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I think these are much stronger. I mean, they're very narrow, but the big ribs must have greatly increased their strength.
Bede, look at the
But
pommel
again,
covered in gold, and this one is like a stone, or.
yeah, yeah, beautifully made. Um, and again, the that little hang on the tang kind of thing uh, is for taking those little pommels. So you see quite a few of them have a little protuberance at the top of the broader
Yeah.
part where the grip scales for the handle goes. And that's clearly to take that kind of pommel. Whereas the big dagger on the left, or short sword,
Mm.
uh, clearly just had two pieces of something, horn, wood, ivory, or whatever, riveted on, but it fitted in that
Bede,
raised area around the thing.
look at the
Yeah, that one.
solid spearheads.
Oh yeah, they're really serious. And
Seriously.
you would tend to think that they were used against, I mean, they're so strong that I would tend to think they were meant to be used against people wearing armor.
Yeah. I just wanted to say back then, I'm just saying it jokingly, like kidding. They used to have many ceremonies there.
Oh yes, yes, the ceremony with the big pointy thing. I
Exactly.
I I, I keep looking at this. I mean, I just looked at the arrowheads.
Yeah.
The top arrowhead is very similar to bronze arrowheads from Egypt of the same period.
You're right.
Uh, the two top ones are very similar. A
Yeah.
friend made me a copy of one of those, which I've never shot, which is a shame. I should put it on an arrow and test it out against some. I've got some rawhide. I should make some rawhide scale armor and test the bronze arrowheads out on it. The two bottom ones,
Mm.
now considering how old these are,
Mm.
those two designs were still used in the Middle Ages,
Yes.
certainly in Asia
Certainly.
and
Certainly.
Anatolia.
Certainly.
I saw the bottommost one. I've seen an excavated. Oh, right, I've seen the drawing and photograph of an excavated Seljuk period
Yes.
arrowhead,
Yes.
exactly like that. Except these are bronze. It was made out of iron.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's amazing. The continuity in design. But then there's only a certain number of ways you can poke holes in people.
Yes.
So I suppose.
So these are these
Uh,
swords from this period. Okay, we move on
yeah.
now to the left and look at this one's beat. Look at this one.
Wow.
I'm not talking about the shape. Look at the handle. If you didn't know the period, you would have thought the handle comes from, not that, ancient period. Look at that.
Well,
Unbelievable.
there's Kanjali handles that are made
Yeah.
that look very. This is from India that look very
Yeah.
much like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, this is again. See that type of handle, the pommel wrap around. These are stabbing saws. You can use them as cutting saws, but look at the blade shape.
Yeah.
Um, I think these are the
Yeah.
a very wide pommel like that kind of constrains where your hand goes, and often it's for
Pete,
stabbing
look at
saws.
the
I'm not 100%.
arrowheads.
Yeah, see the little ones that look like little V's
Yes,
are
these
direct
ones.
descendants of stone arrowheads. They've just made them in bronze,
Yes.
um, and they would have been mounted the same way as a stone
The
arrowhead
shaft
would be.
was like that, right, Pete? And then it went to the.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You split the end of the shaft and fitted the arrowhead in, and you bound it with sinew and
Yeah.
say birch tar or something like that if it was available. The ones on the left row, the ones that seem to have double tails,
Yeah.
that is the same thing. You split the end of the shaft, you fitted the arrowhead in, you wrapped it between the two sets of tails, so you had little prongs at the back and bigger prongs at the front. And this gave you two advantages. One, you get a longer cutting edge, but not as much weight. And two, once it goes into something, it won't come out.
Yes.
So, that's and the other ones are just very solid for armor piercing. And bear
Look
in
at
mind,
how
they have,
many rivets this one has, Pete. One, two, three,
yeah,
four,
but,
five, six, seven, eight, nine.
yeah, but see, they're arranged. You have 4 to 5 on the main part of the hand grip. I'm guessing where that crack is at the base of the handle. Yeah, there's a rivet there as well.
There is.
You have a rivet holding the pommel pieces on,
Yeah.
and
Here.
you have 4 rivets holding the extension down. Now, from the way I look at this, originally there was a grip scale that went all the way down onto the blade,
Yeah.
and now that's cracked.
Correct. Yeah.
And then there was a pommel scale. These are duplicated on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's quite a solid setup.
Very solid.
Of course, after 3,000 years or 3,500 years, these things have deteriorated slightly. But you notice all of the swords tend to have the handle extend down onto the blade, onto that broad part
Yeah.
of the blade at the top,
Yeah.
which I think may link back to the time when they only had rivets there and that was where the
Yes.
handle was attached.
Pete, look at these
Wow.
spearheads. Oh,
Isn't it amazing how some spearhead designs have lasted so long? They were very good at making sockets too. They're
Pete,
really
look at
strong.
this one. What is this?
Uh, the chopper. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, is it a weapon? Is it a butcher's implement?
I don't
I
know.
really don't. But
Unbelievable.
have a look at the sword handle on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Now, see, you can see that extension of the tang to fit
Yeah.
the pommel on.
Yeah, here. Yeah. A hole there.
And so again, you had a grip scale that went down to the bottom set of rivets on the blade,
Yeah.
all the way up to that mini tang, and then the pommel is riveted to that tang over that. This is kind of a consistent design
Beat, just
feature
one
that
thing,
they had.
even in Bronze Age back then, because that's why I always say we need to revise it. They were aware, okay, let's say it's chopper, let's say butcher implement, tool,
Mhm.
whatever. They knew that they could be used for chopping, right? That's important for us to know, right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you've got a whole range of things here. If you
Yes.
look at the spearheads from top to bottom,
Yes.
you can see ones that would be good, like leaf shape, that would be good for both fighting and hunting,
Yes.
and others that seem to be extremely strengthened for maybe somebody wearing bronze armor or something like that, or rawhide armor.
Yeah.
But they're very strong. I mean, the broader the point, the less likely it's used for against armor because it would slow down
Pete,
too much.
Pete, look at this one. This looks like an Achaemenid spearhead.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is amazing.
Unbelievable.
I am, yeah. See, again on the left, there's one of those boar
Ah,
spear type things,
yeah, here
and
again.
I really think they're all spearheads rather than
Yeah,
swords.
one of them
But those,
again. Yeah.
yeah, but the spearhead, like third from the left, that could be anywhere in the Middle East, even up until the Middle Ages, if it
Yeah.
wasn't bronze.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one next to it, um, super strong. Look how much strengthening. They didn't have a thin rib like in the swords. That's got a massive rib in it.
Yes. And these are look like knives. Look, Pete.
Yeah, yeah, just regular useful knives.
These look like a card.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is. I
Interesting.
mean, maybe this is the ancestor of the bitch axe.
Exactly.
But
You're right.
but the yeah, it's a, well. See, there's only so many ways you can solve a problem, I suppose. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's right. If you're not going to talk about other artifacts, if you wish, we can also do it extra. So we concentrate on weapons. And look at this
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
please. Two, again, double axis, right?
yeah.
Interesting.
Again, there's that difference between ones that look like they're meant for chopping something and ones that are more elaborate and look like they're
Do you
for
see different locations, different periods? Always double axis. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is clearly part of deep